Okay.
Original. It's on the 10th meeting, but it is the minutes of September the 12th of 2016. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve as presented. Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Public participation, is there anyone here other than what's on the agenda tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on into new business. It's a public hearing, replat of lot 46, Willowbrook subdivision at the request of Michelle Puckett. Entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
I make a motion we move into public hearing.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carried. We're now in public hearing. Tim, please.
Okay, this is a replat of lot 46 of the Willowbrook subdivision, phase 2, at the request of Michelle Puckett. The structure proposed will be a 4-unit residential complex. This lot was originally platted as a corner lot. However, the proposed road frontage and improvements on the east were never developed. This lot does meet the square footage and frontage requirements for a multifamily development. That is the square footage of the lot and the frontage for the road. There will be a partial vacation of a utility easement on the east side of the property, but staff has determined that this will not impact future utility installations. The applicant is proposing a 5-foot side yard as a portion of the proposed structure may encroach within the 7-foot side yard setback. A 15-foot rear yard is also being proposed per the same issue. Staff has determined adequate space for utilities for any future development in the vicinity of this lot. The remainder of the undeveloped portion of the subdivision will need to be replatted at a future date. Drainage and traffic studies were already considered when this subdivision was originally proposed. This proposal is consistent with the housing goals of the comprehensive plan. Staff is recommending approval of the plat. I want to kind of make a clarification that I kind of explained to the chairman. The rules and regulations that the subdivision regulations that were in force at the time of the approval of the original Willowbrook plat, phase 2, have been amended, and thus the new regulations supersede anything previous. Under the new regulations, a developer has basically 2 years to install improvements, and after that 2 years, essentially it goes into default, or the city will install the improvements if a bond has been secured from the developer. Given that there is no improvements on that east side, staff is basically of the mind that the plat will need to be replatted. The original Willowbrook plat, the remainder of it, would need to be replatted, including a portion, potentially a portion of that vacation of that portion of the roadway on the east. With that, your options would be to either approve the plat as proposed, or deny the approval of the plat if it does not meet the goals of the city's comprehensive plan, or anything that you feel is an error. So with that, I will turn it over to Michelle if she has any comments.
Do you want me to have comments?
If
You want to invite us?
like to say anything.
I think he's going to do a good job. I mean, my ultimate plan is to develop an area that's been undeveloped since I moved to Cameron. I bought 2 lots. This is the only one that I'm asking for. I think you referred to it as a vacation, just because the lot, the way it says trajectory-wise, it's really difficult to get a multi-unit family house on there. aesthetically, it's a single-family dwelling unit, but four of them together, all brick, and I think it would add aesthetically to that division because it's been vacant for many, many years, and housing in Cameron, there's not a lot of single-unit, handicapped, accessible, really nice properties for people to utilize, and so this is the first step of what I hope to be a successful grant scheme for that area.
Thank you.
And just to kind of add one more thing, staff would, if this is approved, staff would inform, we would basically would do any kind of a moratorium on any further building permits or requests in this area until a replat is submitted or,
And the developers,
yes,
aware of that.
yes. And I will make the developer aware of that. Right now, if you pull up on our GIS, the ownership, it's, the individual lots do not show up. It's all still under one ownership, so.
And I noticed the GIS sign out there, the neighbors, have you had any?
Had one call from someone, and they thought it was a rezoning. I said, no, it's just a replat. They said they didn't have any problem with it.
Anyone else in the audience? Anything? Board? Sam? Do you want to say something later?
Oh, I was just looking on Google Earth to see kind of how it laid out there.
And it's just a portion, the way that the lot is, or the development's gonna lay out. The reason for the 15-foot rear yard and the 5-foot side is because just a portion, like the corner, majority of that particular development is going to be within, the 25-foot. It's just that little bit that's gonna be on that 15-foot line, so.
Okay. Yes. Did that. Right. You can see.
Yeah. You got to go.
So it was staff recommendation to approve.
Staff is recommending approval. Yeah, there's, you can say that it meets the other requirements as far as square footage and placement. It's just those little setback issues on those corners.
I can tell you, I'm going to say what I told Tim, I wish that they would have vacated the whole thing and moved the units on that lot and gave it 25 more feet. Because it would make it consistent with everything else we do. Because it's going to be out of consistency.
Eventually, I mean, the way that I'm envisioning it is if they vacate that one across the road, if that develops, then they can consider that vacating it, and then she would automatically get, because when they vacate it, it's gonna automatically give each person half of that portion of the road that gets vacated. So she'll automatically get 25 feet if they do that across the street. So it was either gonna be this one or it was gonna be the one across the street, whichever one wanted to do the vacating on it.
Mr.
motion, we leave public hearing. Second.
Motion is second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, we're now in public hearing. And this is just a one-step process, so this will make some decision. Just one subdivision, so I entertain a motion, for recommendation, or entertain a motion on the, minor subdivision plat submission as you see it.
Make a motion, we accept staff's recommendation to approve.
Motion is second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Motion carried. They're all the same? Okay. Here you go. What are you missing out?
I'll have you sign.
Okay. Michelle, get the board approved that.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I'll get these signed
Okay.
on our end, and I'll.
Thank you so much for all your help. Thanks, take care. Thank you.
Moving on. Old business, the continuation of the public hearing for the vicious and dangerous dog bill. Tim?
At the last meeting that we had, the chairman had sent me, I'd asked the chairman to put together something that would kind of summarize changes that you all felt would reflect what was needed for this under item B in your packets in the item B, authority to remove, and this is what was the chairman and I both kind of agreed was probably close to what we were looking for. It says if the city animal control officer finds a dog to be vicious or dangerous and currently not registered as such under F below, I added not registered as such, just so that, and deemed an immediate threat to the public or residents of a dwelling unit as defined under section 591. The animal control officer has the authority to remove the vicious or dangerous dog from the city or confined and restrained in house or commercial kennel as required under C and D below, once a citation is issued.
Why did that look at me?
We know you gotta leave at 6:30.
We can straighten this out a little.
Oh, my God.
In other words, if it meets the dangerous dog provisions under 591, the animal control officer, as you told us to specify it, has the authority to remove the dog or have it confined or restrained per C and D below.
Okay, do we? Do we need to include anything in there do we need to add on there that, until final disposition of,
Final determination by the court.
determination by the court?
Yeah, I can put that in there.
Just because that sounds so permanent, how
Yeah.
it is, and we don't want to,
Citation is issued and final determination by the court. I can add that, that's no problem.
no, wait a minute, careful how you say that. The animal control officer has the authority to remove the vicious or dangerous dog from the city, or confined and restrained in house or commercial kennel as required under C and D below, once a citation is issued.
and until determination is made by the court.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay. I'll do that.
Okay? That means that the judge is still the ultimate.
Final, he's final. it's like-
Yeah,
Yeah.
if she sees it as an imminent threat, she can remove it until the judge. Okay,
That's the determination.
all right, I'm good with that.
Good deal.
I'm okay with
The
that.
rest of it's okay, correct?
Yeah, the rest of it's-
I think we've established that from, so we're okay with that? Everybody okay? Any questions or comments? Any close vote?
Well, there was this one thing. I feel like Columbo's.
Just
What is the one
6:30.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay. Do you have anything else on it, Tim?
Nope.
Okay, we'll close public hearing, entertain
Make
a motion.
a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carried, we're now in a public hearing. Entertain a motion to make a recommendation to city council to,
Approved bill.
approve the bill regarding the vicious and dangerous dog.
I'll make that motion. Just how you said it.
Second.
Motion second, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. I'm not mistaken, I think council wants to see this Monday night, this coming Monday night.
Yeah.
17th.
I'm gonna give it to them.
Okay.
That and the pit bull.
They're gonna
Repeal the pit bull and replace it with this.
and replace it with this.
Yeah.
How do they're gonna have to do, I know from council, they didn't want to repeal the pit bull until they got this one enacted, but they wanted to do them both at the same time. That's gonna be kind of hard to do, so they're gonna have to do one and the other.
Then the other one, yeah, yeah,
So they'll have to put this one into effect and then repeal the pit bull.
yeah. They'll do them both at the same
Yeah,
time.
okay.
They run both, yeah.
I doubt it, I bet they'll do 3 readings, 3 seconds.
Because we've been
And they're
getting,
gonna do about six times, so that's gonna take about 4 months to get that done. So, okay. I'm okay. Okay, moving on, the continuation of the public hearing for our zoning code update, and then we're looking at general commercial M1 and C&D.
what I did is the reason I put general commercial in there is because it's, again, the staff zoning issue, and anything that's allowed in M1, you have C1 that's allowed in there, and C2. General commercial is allowed as well. This is a review of basically the M1 and CMP district permitted and conditional uses. In considering amendments to the required specific zoning districts, the commission may examine adding, deleting, changing classification of specific permitted and conditional uses currently listed. Because the state permits, this city has adopted stacked zoning. So the commission needs to be mindful of any residential uses that are allowed in the M1 and CMP districts and the impact they might have on commercial or any vice versa. M1 district staff is proposing eliminating the current permitted uses, and I think I've given you a copy of the M1 regulations in your packet. And basically, that are enumerated in 19.2 and replacing them with the following permitted uses. I've got all permitted uses in the C1 and C2 districts: animal hospitals or clinics, automatic car wash, bottling works. And I basically was a little more specific on those things that might be light kind of industrial, or things that you would find typically in light industrial districts, because looking at the way that it's currently worded, things like explosive manufacturing and acid manufacturing and fat rendering are not exactly light industrial uses. So I was going to make those basically, I think, put those, I've got reflect those in the CMP district as conditional uses. And the other item is under the CMP district. Really, the only thing that's changing here would be the all permitted uses in the C1, C2, and M1 district. The conditional uses would be adding the following: auto wrecking yards, junkyards, scrap processing yards with conditions as outlined in the city code, manufacturing or storage of bulk oil, gas, or explosives, petroleum refining, commercial electric power plants, ready-mix concrete, stockyards, slaughterhouses, poultry storage processing, other uses which may be noxious or offensive by reason of emission of odor, dust, smoke, gas, noise, or vibration. And I threw in night watchman's quarters for businesses. And the reason I have to give you kind of a clarification, we don't have a lot of M1 zoning. We have a lot of CMP zoning. And so what we had on our future land use map, there's a lot of CMP that's designated outside city limits that we eventually become CMP. And so my thought is I can still need a place for those heavier industrial type uses, and that would be probably the best place for them is there on the north side of town. The current M1 uses are for light industrial stuff would be more in town within city limits, along Grand Avenue and that kind of thing.
If I'm not mistaken, is where Scotty's Carriage works and
Was it?
Oh, yes, I was here.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna, I can tell you right now, if we repeal and change that around, we're gonna hit a huge stumbling block, because that area there where Caulk Asphalt and Scotty's Carriage Works is at the present time. Caulk Asphalt was, and Scotty's Carriage Works, that area was actually designated in one back years ago for that specific use.
And if you want to, I can go ahead and do that. I can make that so that it's retroactive.
And it's making land around it. That's where I'm headed.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
that's
I
interesting.
already know that's gonna, I'm gonna get my head around this one.
Well, if you want to, I can just give you guys some time,
I'll
think
have to get my
about
head
it.
around this one.
Okay. And just, yeah,
Because I'm just looking through, I'm jumping around here a lot, but under permitted conditional uses, under CMP, I really have to think hard, because CMP is actually, it's not designated for those harbor uses. I'll have to think about that for myself anyway.
well, and that would bring up another thing is if you want, we could make it like I said before, I was trying to use the existing zoning designations, but if you want to, those other conditional uses could be under what I was thinking of M2, which would be a heavy industrial district. Yeah.
I might think about that one. I think it easier.
And what we can do is just designate, when we update our future land use map, again, designate which areas we would want M2. So that way we have, I'm just trying to cover all bases just in case somebody says, hey, look, we need to put this here, where are we gonna put it, kind of thing, and it's, and that's the only reason I was thinking that. I'm trying to be as pro-business as possible with this stuff.
It puts it in perspective, so it's just kind of, I'm going to have to spend some time going through this side. What we have, where it might go, looking at what we designated the areas. that kind of thing. Okay.
Oh, yeah. But in general, though, it's kind of, you kind of get the gist. I'm trying to separate stuff out and make it a little bit easier to,
Gotcha.
TDD update, we had the meeting with the members of who would be in the proposed Transportation Development District. It was a special meeting last month, and we had a pretty good turnout of the folks, and it was predictable turnout for the ones that were on the closer to the I-35, Bob F. Griffin area, but only one person showed up for the other area, which was up around 69 Walnut Street. So, from what I understand, it's in the hands now of property owners, and they're going to get in contact at some point with, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, they'll get in contact with the city attorney or Mark and see what the next steps would be from them.
Yeah, I think we basically left it in their hands.
Yeah.
With the attitude that the city is more than happy to assist them in getting them directed in the proper directions. But the main thing is what I left it with and challenged them with was to go in their area, and you're absolutely right. I think they was more, of course, they're more targeted on their particular area, which is the Wendy's, McDonald's, truck stop, that area. That's what they're targeted on. And go to all those business owners and landowners in that area and find out who is on board.
And
And once they find that out, then to determine off of GIS, which we actually told them that they come to City Hall if they don't have that ability to do that, if they come down here and set up a time, somebody would call them to draw that out.
see, ultimately, what's going to end up happening, I think, and this is what kind of Drew was, and Mark were talking about, is that possibly there's going to end up being two separate districts potentially, because if they don't want to, include them on that west side, that's so.
Yeah, they was actually talking about transportation as a whole district in their area and maybe a different type of district in the Walnut area. It does the same function, just two different, but it allows two different groups, two different districts going, targeted in different areas with different goals, which, I think we knew the goals in the Walmart area, which are good goals to accomplish, and we know what their goals are around the truck stop area. So, and those are good goals also. I pulled, and it's going to be up to them, but I felt like from that meeting, and I don't know what you guys got out of it, but I think that it was real enthusiastic about it at the time. That group that was here did not want to have really anything to do with it other than just say, as a board, yes or no. They were basically wanting to hire somebody to do their work. As a business owner, I can see their stand. And somebody that specializes in that area that keeps them in line and does that, I can understand that.
I did have one question, and Mike got answered about whether or not the TDD could include business properties that are outside the city limits as well as inside. I'm assuming that is a yes, that they draw their district line around property lines anywhere. And that district can expand beyond, so if there were a couple of businesses just outside of the city limits,
That's
they
what
could.
I understand.
I thought they could, yeah.
Yeah, and it could also be added to at a later date. I mean, the district could be there, then if there's another owner comes on board down the line, then that particular board would have to, they'd have to ask to be in, and then that board would have to give them the agreement to be in. So that would just expand the area.
I just didn't think it was.
I mean, that's what they
It was,
said.
the TDD was a boundary that was not bound by city limits. It could be anything, as far as the state's concerned, it could be anything anywhere, and could actually cross. So
Correct.
it doesn't matter, I mean, it was just a question of curiosity I had, because of some of the businesses that are out there, I didn't know.
So we basically challenged them to find out who wanted to be in it, set up the area. be up to them to see how much revenue it would generate and all that. That's housed within them, and then the city would be happy to point them in the correct directions to get information that they needed. And I think Terry Rummery actually said that he could help them do that.
He would be the guy to kind of,
Yeah,
He's
he's the one
way
that
to
sort
go.
of manage their,
And he's into that stuff, so he knows what to do.
point him in the right direction.
Yeah, and he could probably even be their, he could be their consultant, honestly, because that's his game.
yeah.
So we'll see where it goes, and then, you know, they're all real positive, but they still
I hate to run, but,
6:30.
we're
We're done with our main business, so you can go.
And,
thank you.
well, on
Thanks,
a,
Dan.
Yep,
yeah, on a personal note, this is due to family situation that I have on another state. This will probably be my last P&Z meeting with you all. I'm going to be moving back to Kansas to be closer to my mom and sister, who are going to be moving there from Memphis into Salina. And my sister, who usually takes care of my mom, is she's not doing too well herself, and so they both have to come up. And my brother's already in my house, so I'm going to go back to my house now. So, but anyway, it was a pleasure working for you guys.
good working with Tim.
And I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to have, I told Mark, I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 months worth of P&Z stuff, the zoning code stuff put together with the changes that you guys have recommended so far. It's my understanding that the city is trying to recruit or get someone on temporarily on an interim basis until they can get somebody full-time. I don't know, who knows, you may see this guy up here in another couple months. I'm just kidding, I'm not putting that on you. But anyway, no, it's been a pleasure working with you guys. I enjoyed it. This is, as I say, every city I go into is a learning experience, and I've learned a lot from you guys as a commission, and how you all do things. You do some things extremely well here. And I said it was a breeze, coming in, taking over from Clyde, and then just kind of stepping into this. You guys made it really good, easy for me, and I really appreciate it. So,
Okay. Thanks for your service.
You bet.
Okay, anybody else have anything? I see that we'll go ahead and do, I don't know who's going to, like you said, who's going to be.
to be determined. I have a feeling that probably next month is going to be a difficult issue anyway because of the holidays coming up, and Thanksgiving and stuff. So I'll see what Mark wants to do, but I'll have stuff ready just in case.
Okay, so are you going to, like, are you going to be coming back here every once in a while, or you just, Friday I know was your last day. Is that going to be your last day period, or?
Yeah, it's my last day. I'm going
So what Mark will get will be what you.
he'll be able to contact me on the phone.
He'll be, what he'll get will be what you leave him Friday after the.
Yes, I will. I've already briefed him on everything,
Okay,
and so he knows what's coming up.
so my contact basically will
Would
be
be
Mark.
I won't be here next month. I don't know if I'll be there.
Okay. We'll see, because I said something to Mark, because I knew he was leaving, so, I told Mark that I would help out as much as I can in keeping this going, because we're going to continue to have more and more coming up through the winter, there's no doubt about that. And we hope that there is more. So there may be subdivisions, there may be replats, there may be site plans and that kind of thing. So,
Well, this is usually the slow time of the year, and usually what I try to do is schedule in the slow part, doing code updates and things like that, or addressing issues that you would want to address that
take the information that you have when you leave, and then, we will bring it back and work on that through our slow times through the winter.
Sure.
So is all I'm really asking being through here is not, it's here tonight, because I'm more than, I told Mark that I'm more than happy to help out what I can, until you get somebody, okay? But if you see something coming in, that we need to kind of go over before it hits the meeting and that type of thing, don't let off of me, and so I'll be aware of it. So I just don't come in here cold and not know anything about it. And it'll make life a whole lot easier for everybody, because you know me, I'm going to take it apart if I can, so. Or fire me. So, yeah, it'll work out, I think. Okay.
And Mark,
Sign this for me.
Mike, if you could sign these for me.
Sure. I didn't take a motion to.
I so moved.